so that we can help in that particular line, just to help our counties achieve what they are supposed to achieve in their own revenue source. Yeah, own source revenue, that is how it's called. Because without that revenue, depending on the national government, the counties will not be able to deliver services to the communities. So it is us, especially as the tax collectors from the Western region, we have decided we want to help. And helping is just consulting and trying to train all the staff in our counties so that they can be able to collect what is supposed to be collected. And this will help it will go along with this topic, realigning unit of purpose in socio-economic development for our counties. Thank you. So we have some flyers which I am going to give out to members. You can see the topics we've come up with, at least to help us to train the people so that we can be able to collect the required taxes. Thank you.
But not tired. So it's an opportunity for we come to an end. So anyone who wants to say something, yeah, you will speak, and then
can't you find out what's going on? I'm happy you're addressing that, because there are so many trucks carrying the used soil out of our place. The second one of the presenters said that we have given away our heritage. Let's talk to our county governments to encourage our people to go back to our traditional meals. We are now buying what used to be bought from Western when we were in Nairobi, from Kisii and Ukambani, like the traditional veggies. Ata njuku, chemusha, Kikuyus are the ones selling, but they buy from our people. So let's sensitize them to go back to that, and then lastly, leaders and ourselves, whether on Mutandao or elsewhere. I don't know if it's because I'm so much in government, and someone said I'm a good kiapo, the audience knows. I would rather call you and tell you about what I think about you than talk about you on Mutandao. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I'd like to express my gratitude to the organizers and the drivers of this course. This is an opportunity that we really should embrace and have it more frequently. Annually, people will forget. So it might be useful for us to follow it up at close range. Now, when a lot of presentations on opportunities like this is out, and it's always something that we embrace, and that we go for will always be a minus. What we leave out is the main thing. So I'll be specific. You listen to people, even what you've said. You say insulting each other on WhatsApp and things like those. You know, amount to lamentation. The complaints we make, let us avoid lamenting. They never take you forward. They only remind you about your bad situation. On the contrary, we have so much around us, and the most critical are communities. We have communities which have shaped us and which bring us up. Those communities have not come from nowhere. Those communities have come from somewhere. And those communities are very sustainable in one way or another. But with a lot of lamentations, we could lose communities, and that will be the last stroke. I would like, on an occasion like this, for us to embrace expressions that sustain communities. How can we sustain communities? Why don't we just forget about our individual selves for a while? Because a lot of the time we get into trouble when we think of ourselves as lonely creatures, as people who don't belong,
But the moment we think of ourselves as people who belong, then a lot of the things we cry about, we will not think about them. Because we belong. We belong somewhere. That thinking is so energizing. It is so refreshing. And it is so real that we should not always forget and think evil of people who think themselves in terms of their communities. We should be proud to be whom we are. We should be proud to be Maasais. Maasais are all over and they are enjoying themselves because every time they remind themselves that they are not just anything, they are Maasai. And they are being whom they are. There are certain things they cannot touch, they cannot do, because you see their forefathers did not let them do it. Their forefathers survived because they were not doing those things. Do you know about the Maasai? And I just finished having their age set system, inscribed by UNESCO as best practice, as a cultural practice to be safeguarded and to be promoted and to be shared with the world. Because we have a lot of attributes which we need to share with the world as communities. We have tried them, we created them, we reviewed them, we revisit them, we sustain them, and they sustain us. When we get away from that thinking process, then we are so lonely. We are so vulnerable. We lose our support systems. Talking about culture, where does it come from? Culture comes from our environment. It's created by our environment. Rather, we create it, as communities, we create it as coping mechanisms. As coping mechanisms. It helps us to cope with the circumstances that happen to be within our environment. So they are tested. They are not backwards. Those cultural expressions are not backward. They are not things of long time ago. They are practices, they are expressions with a purpose, that are serving a certain purpose, that are helping us to cope with the times we have come from and the times we're going into. Have you ever thought of where Shikachi grows? Shikachi. Shikachi is an acid, and you need to chew it quickly. The moment you start feeling something, you just get Shikachi and it will always be there. Whether it's drought season, she will find Shikachi. Because it dealt with issues of digestion, issues of dishenji, things like those. When you are memory canal is not working properly, you needed Shikachi and just to chew a bit of it. Are we together? Yes. Where is Mulembe going? Where is Mulembe going? Because it's disappearing. We have ignored it. We die. When Mulembe is just there, right? And then we have reportion. This small plant, it grows everywhere. And it makes sure that you see it. And whatever circumstances. It is so green. When everything else is dry, the portion plant is so green. And then you ask yourself, why does it maintain its green appearance? Why does it maintain it? Why does it sustain it? Why? Abachi tree. Abachi tree is one tree that is all the time green. And you will find it in all seasons. All seasons. Why? That is where you get all sorts of painkillers. a budget tree, just chew it. You decide, choose whether you want the leaf, you want the stalk, you want the roots, whatever you want. And if you don't know it, you have not been brought up properly. Now, here we are. The greatest community in Kenya is the Luya community.
Hey.
Why? Because of its diversity. Because of its diversity. And diversity is for us to celebrate it. To celebrate it. And I was a little hurt, I should say that. And I was praying that my brother here stays around until I say this. When you find that your neighbor wants to kill your cow, you must ask yourself questions. Why did you leave him behind? But if you leave your neighbor behind, your cow will go. Let us be inclusive. No, see how putting on bed. So this is our unita. See, I know what sure. No, see how what in on bed. So it's our unita. Can you go to pay dowry? You know, to your in-laws alone. Can you take the cow alone? No. You can't. It is this individualism that's going to finish us. Don't do it alone. What do you have a neighbor for? Think in terms of community. So that if you know something, you are not the only one who knows it. There must be someone else who knows the same. If you plan something, please make sure there is another person who, you see, this thing that and we pushed it in the Constitution, by the way. Those of you who are aware. This mayor here knows. We had to fight to get Commission 13. It was not easy to get Commission 13 because there was no Commission on Culture. And we said we cannot have a constitution without the Commission on Culture. Then they slipped us into another commission. We refused and said we want a standalone commission on culture. Then when we got into drafting, we also put our hoofs on the ground and said we would like culture acknowledged. That's why Article 11 is very specific. And it says this constitution is founded on the principles of our cultural heritage. So that's where we need to go. Sasa sisi tusipote njia, then we start blaming the neighbor. Tusipote njia, then we start blaming the street. Now, my brother, I'm very sorry what happened to you. Baka, you were poisoned. You were poisoned, and then people stole you. They stole him. Yes, they stole him. In our Isuha language, you would rather a person who takes away your property than a person who makes you sleep, than a person who cheats you. Because a person who tells you a lie is worse than a person who steals. Right? Because the person who lies, you are just none. But when we invert everything, none. But when we invert everything, in music we have first inversion, second inversion, and so on, root position, and what you are doing, harmony in music. If you go through that process, then we suffer. We suffer instability. We will not experience sustainability. That's why United Nations, 1948, established a standard setting institution, UNESCO. UNESCO is a standard setting institution because UN knew that the world has diverse forms, landscapes of heritage and even environment. And so the behavior of a person who interacts with the Lake Victoria on day-to-day basis will be different from the behavior of a person who interacts with the Kakamega forest. So the fellow who interacts with the Kakamega forest will probably be talking to you about Shikaji, will be talking to you about Enderama, about Mukombero, about such things. Those are the things that sustain life and livelihood, right? But the person around the lake has things that he will be talking to you about. The person in the grasslands has things he will be talking to you about. Now when we bring all of this, the matrix together, then we enjoy life. That's why we travel to go to see how it is on the other side of. UNESCO has come up with the universal living values. As chairman, every time we have this occasion, let us have a presentation on universal living values. That's why you could hear my brother say, please let us stop insulting each other. You are just a coward. If you come to call me names, you are a coward. You are the bully. And you are calling me, you are telling me, and I know that I'm not that thing you are saying. You are just afraid of me. And you know, our people always knew this. After going through Mulembe, you knew that the cowards are the ones who insult, who tell you about your mother, who tell you about your father, who tell you about your blind brother. Those are cowards. But that cowardice is so entrenched amongst real people. This is something we must use this forum to squeeze out. We must squeeze out. The worst thing that my child can have is worry. When you name your child after someone or something, you want that child to have a hollow, isn't it? There's no English word for a hollow. We have an English word for a hollow. We have an English word for a hollow. What is it? Courage. No, a hollow is 3 times more than courage. A hollow is courage and determination cooked together. Not just courage. When you just walk around with the courage, then you will be told, Simba. You are just as useless as this other person who you just say, courage is not enough. Courage is good, by the way. It is a living, but alone, no, it can't be alone. It must be cooked with the determination, right? Then you have a hope. If you give birth to a child and something told you this child has no hollow, you know, then you forget about give me a child So what I'm emphasizing here is we need to appreciate our identity, and because upon it we grow our continuity. And let us start with ourselves, start with our communities, start from where we are, because you can never be without something. Mungu awabariki sana.
Thank you very much, Nisamula Anand, Dr. Peters, please. And anybody else? And then you, then we. Okay.
Thank you, Daktari. This is my first time to attend this summit. I missed the other one, but I want to thank you for reaching out to me. I think I'll always move with you. Thank you very much. I've learned a lot, and I just want to say that as we are moving towards sustainability and development and empowerment, there's a group that is always forgotten. The people living with disabilities. We have them in the families, we have them in the communities. So as we move together, let's move with them. In this hall here, if you look around, we are people with disabilities, isn't it? If you look at me, am I not having a disability? Which type of disability? Vision, isn't it? And how many are we here, including Dr. Chairperson? So if somebody had not come out with this question, maybe we would be sitting at home and saying that we cannot move, isn't it? The same to people, those people with a disability at home. We need to support them. Maybe they bought, some of them need wheelchairs, others need crutches. And let's value them, because if we value them, we empower them. They also contribute to the development of a community, Mulembe community, isn't it? So sometimes Mzee talked about Omunda Bora, anakutusi ya kwamba you're blind brother. Tell that person na kwamba disability is just a what? In fact, within a blink of an eye, you are disabled, isn't it? But we always pray to God that sustain us so that we don't get that worst disability. But if it comes, we say, God, it's your plan. So we value those ones, and we should always also empower them. I did my research in Kakamega County on disabled people, and I went up to Socio-Econimic, those areas there, and I realized that, Chairman, there's some kind of discrimination on the people living with disability. So they also have to be enlightened so that we tell them these are human beings. If you get a child who is disabled, appreciate that child, isn't it? And let us appreciate that child. Then finally, let me talk about CBC. CBC is an educationist. CBC is a paradigm shift from the content. CBC is content-based, and this one is content-based. If I look around the age here, we are people who chewed a lot of content, isn't it? You chew, you cram, and then when the exam comes, you pour it on the paper, and that is all, isn't it? But now CBC is giving people, young people, competence. What we saw here, the young girl and the boy, that is what is expected. Believe me or not, this is which century is it? 21st. Come 22nd, 23rd century. Your maneno ya insulting will never be there, because CBC is imparting values among the children, students. Respect, integrity. If you abuse somebody, how is your integrity? Your integrity is questioned, and so many others. Which, it is imparting creativity, innovation, so that if you have a child at home and there's a small piece of land, buy it in Bindi, buy a small, what you learn for graduate is not what you are doing something else. But if this child is given creativity, innovation, this child will never sit at home that I'm waiting for a white collar job. Just like the industry that has really grown among the Mulembe family also, there is this piki. I want to thank the late Kibaki for thinking and bringing up the project of piki. Among those pikis, don't think that they are only dropouts who are there. One time I told someone to carry me home, and when we are chatting, I heard this young man tells me that I graduated 2 years ago in actuarial science and had not gotten a job. But now, this is the industry that has embraced everybody is doing it, and they are putting food on the table. They are even educating their children. It has become an industry that some of them have even bought lorries. They have bought it, they are doing well. So what you are saying, that a child should not just say, I'm being trained to be an engineer, a doctor, so that I'll only, after graduation, I'll wait to get a college job in hospital. CBC will give this child creativity, so that as he or she is waiting for that opportunity to be a doctor in a hospital, will be doing something else. Are we together? So when it came, people were so negative about it. That, walimu wanatumana mayai, wafanya nini? We went around and realized it was not the same. It was just that, what you have to that thing. But now, slowly by slowly, they are embracing it. So their jealousy with us, so that the crop that is coming should be a crop.
We even have this thing maybe for 2 days, so that probably if we have Saturday, we can have a festival. Tikolo had talked about having this thing as a festival. festival, no? So that we can have our culture. On Saturday, we test our meals, zile traditionals, watu wanafanya presentations. This is what I do. I'm able to go to this stand, jifunze wea nafuga kuku, wanianzishe mwanzo mpaka, and then the following day, we can have this indoor session. That's all. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay.
This one is called Humiriza, eh? Repeating myself. It is Humiriza. You know, there's something is saying, but it's not coming out. The whole of it, eh? Sasa mpaka Humiriza, eh? Shiti yanashe shiruli, but it's a very important point. Daktari also mentioned something very, and so I want to share something that we can do, small things that we can do, isn't it? We plan a lot of things, but we never plan them in what to do. We never say what to do and when to do. Some of these things we can deal with them in short term. There are those that come in mid-term. There are those that will be long-term. And each of those has a system approach. When we talk about culture, it's good for us to be specific. What is it that we're talking about? And we are talking about CPC. CPC, who is actually? Yes, I have a problem with CPC myself. The problem is the system approach, Dr. Because you see, you cannot just walk one when that child will run away. That child must know, even have that urge from between. She was a mother hand. But I want to eat, man, I want to eat. Not only eat, but only eat. When you reach it, you remain. But if we confront these children with things that they have never thought about, we have a problem. So my problem with CPC is the approach. We need to have approached the way we approached 844. And if I left this place without a Humiriza, I wasn't going to sleep well. Because there are many things we need to do on CPC. Ultimately, it's a good thing. In fact, it's not new. That is the approach we have used to grow ourselves. Yes. Isn't it? Yes. Yeah, we have CPC. We don't call it CPC, but we call it Bonamundo, isn't it? But we don't disrupt. There's a program I started, I was just sharing with my brother, doing an inventory of our cultural practices. And this is work I did with UNESCO and 80 women in Isuha. And we came up with this traditional foodways of the Isuha community of Kenya. Imagine we can do this with every other community. Yeah? Even this one is not in their environment. There's something that serves them with. So respect then becomes crucial. To respect other people's names, food, songs, dances, respect them. It is social function. A purpose is serving to express the identity of this person and to charge forward this unity. So we just need to respect it. The fourth, because there are only 4 objectives. The fourth objective is international assistance. UNESCO, as a multilateral organization, has an avalanche of funding that comes from many people, including those who display our culture. They pay money there every year, right? Now, you will have access to such money from UNESCO. UNESCO is that institution I told you. I'm a capacity building facilitator for their global program on intangible cultural heritage. They will give you money and you come up with a program like this. This program I conducted with women and 3 schools. These women were working with these children, right? And how to the food and so on and so forth. Beatrice, you see, the thing that icked me, I'll take this microphone again. Because that's what you do with culture. You keep repeating until you go the right direction. The more that saying, of this child. Let this child be involved in Raka Sebende. So, no Raka Tower, everyone shop to find the cement here. Morango, Shanya, Mini, and Sikoraka Tower. Getting the practice here. Systematic approach to life. It's a condition, it's a you could remember someone, and so on and so forth.
Thank you very much,
I think this conversation needs to go on. I visited a center. It's on the Eastern Bypass near Utawala. Some guy has put up, so you go through the various, grades, each subject to see how it's done. They are even running a training center for teachers to immerse them into that CBC. They have a farm with, pigs, with goats, with, showing the different types of things and so forth. And they're just massive students and teachers going there over and over again. And I was asking, why don't we have that at home? Why should people be moving from here to go there? We can tie it with the culture that you're talking about so that the children are being taught about our culture here in those CBC demonstration centers. And so this is something perhaps the counties can take up.
Just to add on what Kent is saying, CBC is encouraging culture, and that's why there is introduction of mother tongue. You go to Isuha, they are supposed to be taught Isuha and the cultures. You come to Maragoli, they're supposed to do it. So I was so brief, but there's a lot that is going on. Yes, not that we cut down the culture. That is the culture, they have to embrace their culture.
Thank you. I don't know if we have a 4 o'clock tea, but I will take this microphone and take it back to the chair for the summary, and then Mr. Barasa Sidani will give us a vote of thanks.
Thank you. I think the more it looks like it's ending, the more it looks like it is starting. Sindio? Kama sasa imefika shaanza kuja Mulembe kwa kwanza kuja. I just want to first of all say that the discussions have been very rich, and I would ask and challenge my team, even from what Dennis has said, that we need to look at how we can, from today, build up the and Luyas. We are in the Luya consciousness. We are waking up, and we are waking up with even the young ones. They are waking up with us. We need to wake up and spread the word. And that is why I told one of my friends here that even when there are more than one group of Luya unity, let us embrace each one of them. Yeah. Never see ever, never see ever. I'm sure in the future they will all come together, isn't it? Yes. Yeah. So we support, we do what we say we will do. Then there was that that as a committee we try and look at the doctors consortiums, and we have seen like the Oasis Hospitals is formed by Luya doctors. I know Dr. Sunguti, Joram Sunguti, and many other doctors who are working together to run hospitals. I think Dr. Gishenga is the chair of the private sector hospitals. I'm sure that we just need to emphasize to them. Accountants, Mheshimiwa, you talked about accountants coming up with firms, coming together, whether you are in Nairobi or you are in Mombasa or you are in Nakuru or Kisumu. Let us have big companies of accountants, auditors, tax consultants, governance experts coming together to run huge consultancies. I run one, and usually I pick people to join me when I'm going out. And I would like that we continue, all of us, in the same way. Land valuers should come together, surveyors, lawyers, teachers. When you retire, there is some awkwardness when you leave your work, where you wake up every morning to go to work. We need even teachers to come together, chief principals, so that they can bring their body of knowledge together for the benefit of society. Then Patrick Kisia, you really talked so many things, and you said that we need to promote diversity in our farming practices, issues of value chain, making sure that we convert raw materials and add value, and then let us work together in terms of together we join cooperatives. What I did not say, for those who do not know what I do for the communities, that we formed a cooperative, Magharibi Premier Circle, and it is doing very well. Today I've just cleared loans, 2 people who had applied. Here, we do it online. 450,000 shillings are paid to 2 guys who are going to do what they ought to do with the money. We have now reached more than 30 million in savings. We are moving on slowly, but surely we want you to join. This is one. Imagine you are looking at the chairman. We are following the SASRA rules to make sure that we get where we ought to get this before we open a deposit taking circle. Look at, and somebody almost mentioned it, that when you are moving from this Mbale here, how many circles will you see their doors open? I think it was that professor was saying he was driving from Kitale. I passed shops and they were closed. My friends, and you do move around. Go to Nyeri. In a market like Khayega, you will see about 5 cooperatives with doors open. Washira abaloba kusia zingo. Wale mubanya ilo nende utali nende matete. Huo wanapeleka wapi pesa jioni? Na ni pesa nyingi si kidogo. Isn't it? They need to have a place. So we are not saying you join ours. You can even strengthen what you have, so that we grow the financial services. So we already have one. You can talk to us. Most of these people are members. Hata huyu Pamela ni member. Hata huyu Baraza ni member. Nani mwingine sijaona mwenyewe. Huyu Evans ni member. So when you want a loan, you can discuss with me here. Na Kenya hele kwa musini. Uende ulipe dawa. Tunakupatia. Hatutaki watu kutukana na sisi. Alafu unafika kama umekufa, wanasema tungoje 1 week. Kuna maneno wanaongea, kuna shindu mpaka kwa mara kwanza hoho yabe. Unakaa tena 1 week kwa baridi. Maliza tu mapema tuende mbele. Then the sports team, where you really sports on issues of culture are captured. Let us sustain our cultural identity, which Mheshimiwa, you have really strengthened. That remember, Luhya is the most important community because of its diversity. Let us keep talking Luhya. My kids, those who didn't get Kiluhya vizuri, when we are talking Kiluhya, they always ask, Dad, what is that? So let us keep talking our Kiluhya. Let us be proud. And you know how Luhyas can be proud. Go to any disco or any church or any wedding. Waweke Kiluhya tu hata mkanga. Utaona kila mtu hata wewe simu bukusa lakini mabega. Isn't it? We have an identity in this country and everywhere. We went with Madam Juliet and Harriet Chikai. We were doing a conference on women in procurement in Kenya from all the state corps in Naivasha. And wacha waweke Kiluhya. Alikuwa anakanyagia hapo mbele. Si ni kweli? Yeah, let us be proud of our culture. And we should go and read universal living values under the UNESCO. Then Madam Daktari, you talked about the people living with disabilities in our communities. Let us take care of them. We are all candidates of disability. You know, it is like marriage. You can only divorce if you are married. So you can only get disabled if you are able. So they are able differently. Let me tell you, hizi magari tunapita, sisi wenye tuko karibu na factories huko Kakamega North, people go walking in the factory, they come back with a maimed hand or something. So we who can actually reach a very high level in this field. Then we talked about creativity and innovations, and then we have talked about looking at our outcomes as a team. We should summarize them into short term, medium term, and long term. And then we need to also look at how we coordinate ourselves and how we work with various stakeholders, including county governments and national government. We will do a post-mortem of what you have said and what I've just read here, and I'm sure that we shall be better next time. I think next time we are going to next is Trans Nzoia. We go to Trans Nzoia because of so we will have our next date, and you challenged us to say it should not be taking 1 year. Actually, we were to come here in June, except for the Mandaman, and we feared that the boys might come to greet us. Unaona hii michezo tunakula wangekuja wapita hapa mbio. By the time we come back, we have got no answers. Yeah, so I think we shall be doing it annually, so that we can finish quickly, and then we can now recruit as a big. I have liked Dennis your idea of two days. Maybe we might think for the whole group now. When we have gone round, finished, then we can now have a group of 2 days to chase kabisa tukule mkombero, to chase hapa kabisa. I know they will start asking me, Chairman, can I come with a partner? And then I tell you, it must be within the framework of the protocols. You know, he's a man of protocols. So thank you very much. We will sit down again and go through all your presentations. So for those who did your presentation, even mine, which I did which are not written, I'll submit so that the organizers can prepare. This we report on the group. For those who are not in the group, we are going to update you in the list. So, Madam Pam, please use the list to update those who are not there. They are saying they are not seeing what we are discussing. Otherwise, thank you very much and God bless you as you travel back home to meet your family. Thank you.
Yeah, so there will be a cup of tea and then later on in the evening there will be some music. There's outside, we also have a photo session. But let's sit there. I'm sitting down. Can I carry your computer?
The age is catching up so that I don't forget what I want to say.
Thank you very much. I think first of all we should give ourselves one long big applause for being here from morning, afternoon, evening. We are just about to get into the night. One for all of us. I think you have done very, very, very well. We must congratulate ourselves. I'll say something about myself, the things we have said here. One, I am a product of CBC, like he said. It was not there in our age, like in school, but we are a product of that. And then I am artistically oriented. They say those who think, I don't know, from the left or the right. And like my friend Caleb, I was telling him, if he gives me a sum to calculate 10 goats plus 5 sheep, how many 10 goats, 5 sheep, how many cattle do you get? How many cows? I will take about 30 minutes trying to calculate. If you ask me such a question, I cannot give a straight answer like 0. Like I don't know that it's not possible to have 10 sheep added to 10 goats that it will not give you cows. I will take a bit of time, yeah? However, I have the artistic side of it, of my life. So I work as a publisher, but I trained in graphic design and I did art in school as a private candidate. So in Form 4, some teachers, by the time we were registering for Form 4, a teacher was able to notice something in me and said, this guy will do this more than doing the mathematics that we are pushing him to do. So now, he identified me, he told me, pursue this. I registered as a private candidate, I did it Form 4. I went to A-level that time. God sent the same teacher to that school again, on transfer. And he told my friend, do this one. This is what will take you places. So I went, I did in A-level again. I first studied art and design in university. The rest having been just, like doing it practically by yourself. Of course, I got challenges because then I went to school. In schools in Western, we had people from Mukumu. I think Mukumu was doing art. The girls from Mukumu, and then others in Nairobi, the Nairobi School, the Alliance. So they had some read about art. I only knew how to draw, but I didn't study about colors. I didn't know anything. So obviously it gives you a bit of those challenges. So I'm reading, I'm like in university with people who have already gone through the whole school system. But it ended, I then studied, finished, worked in a bit of Kenya Literature Bureau, advertising agencies, Nation. I finally worked with the Somalis for what we call the Food and Agriculture Organization. FAO, Somalia program. I'm about to retire now. Hopefully I can come into mining. I think I have some general knowledge. All right, so then I had two things. So that side is the art side. Then I had musical side. And during our time, music wasn't doing very well. It's doing well now, but that time it wasn't doing well. And my mom never wanted to see me doing a guitar. So I would do a guitar from a kichungi. When I go to school, I come back, nimeficha kwa nyumba huko behind. And I come, I look for it, I don't find it. So I'm asking the guy who takes care of cattle, kitu yangu ilikuwa hapo umeona? Then my mom is on the farm, tuna mboga. Ati orema shishina and I was saying, my angel colleagues are you know, it's like my guitar has cooked the beans and whatever that I'm eating. So, I mean, it was basically curtailed at that level, but it never died. So, I continued doing it on the sides. And I was even saying, one of the biggest things that we want to earn money from as Luyas, people from the Western regions, is talent, culture, musical, dance, art, you know? Because I have earned finally from that, because I went, bought equipment, set up a band. What they do, I've not done really, you know, like your own songs, but set up a band, and I started doing in big hotels. So I was doing Serena, Radisson Blue, Kempinski, those kind of hotels. I've even earned 900,000 shillings in 4 hours for doing a central bank retirees party. Because the governor, the one who left, I think it was called Njoroge or something, he used to come to Serena and we were performing, and so he liked the band. And he would always sit and see us performing. Now, when he was having such events, of course he has given event organizers, the guy, he just says, I want a band that plays in Serena. You see, he has given instructions. So how they do it, they just have to find that band. And yes, you will find even things like this. Of course, I example, there was a Muindi who organizing these things. So the Muindi had, so I didn't get the 900. Muindi alikula only 250. The reason is what? 250 was basically my rate for events like that. But then we charged 900,000 in advance. So, and I would not have known, you see, except when Central Bank said, no, let the bank raise the invoice directly. We cannot pay through somebody. And you see now the Muindi, because he had already quoted 900,000, he comes to me and negotiates. This is my friend, you know, that was the price. You know, mine was this one, you know. So, good faith, yeah. So yes, these things can have enough money, talent, and that art thing can give us money without actually starting. It's not like a serious big investment. It's just harnessing the talents that we have with our people. This young girl is already doing what she is able to do. If she didn't go to that competition after, she would not have had that trophy. So it's not, doesn't take even too much. She just said her mom doesn't earn so much, but it's just exposing her probably through Power FM and such events, she's able to come out and earn some of this. Now, there's something about Luyas. People keep intimidating us about being cooks and watchmen. I like Google. Google is just searching some of these things. There's a guy called Alan Wong. I think he's the highest earning cook in the world. His net worth is about $1 billion US. A bodyguard for one of these musicians. She's called Adele or something. A bodyguard. For me, that's a security. That's a security fellow. He's a watchman. That fellow earns 95,000 USD half yearly just for guarding this musician. Yeah? And so for me, even if you call me a cook or watchman, for me those are really profound and very, 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 whatever, noble professions. You can imagine if a president cannot trust his cook to a level where he tells him, you need to eat this food for me to see that it is fine for me to eat, you know. Or you are sleeping in your house and somebody is watching you over you outside and you cannot trust him, you know. So definitely these are two very, very noble professions, and somebody should not intimidate us saying, it's just that it's the way they are looked at culturally around here. But all said and done, I think we are good to go. I'm very happy with the commitment, the grasp of the speakers of today, just like it was in Kakamega. I think people are very passionate. And also, if you look at this crowd and the way we are sitting here, there's something you will love it about. People are patient, and it has political leaning. There's not too much about political fanfare and discussions, big issues about parties and who and so forth. Of course, our brother has talked about his whatever, but you can see that he just mentioned that in touching. I mean, he touched that in passing. The main item were the points that he has to talk about, which are more from his line of work and his consultancy and so on. So finally, I'm thinking it is very important for us to thank that he enabled us to find time to be here. First of all, to be members of this great forum of the Mulembe Nation Agenda. God has given us life, He has given us some gifts. We were able to come here, I think, on our own. We didn't borrow money. We managed to get a little we can get, and we found time to come and sit through the whole session. We want to thank the committee that has worked on the Mulembe Nation Agenda. It gets very challenging because I'm a member of that committee. It's an issue. People are too busy doing many things, not that they don't want to work for us or for their team, but they're just a bit too busy. So life, of course, chasing around, hustling all over the place. I want to thank, of course, the larger membership of Mulembe Nation Agenda for continuing to exist. People leave. As Chairman was saying earlier, the group would be very dynamic. Sometimes people want to join. What is in there for me? Is there money? Are we going to you know, what would be the benefit? But for those who have stayed the course, I think we can see and we can identify. And we are going to remain, in fact, sometimes maybe it's like cleaning out. For those who fall off the way, too bad. But I think at the end of the day, this will start giving us the results. And we just pray that God will continue giving us strength so that we go this way. And then I will not forget, of course, to thank Ambassador Ken Letizia and Madame Razoa for giving us the opportunity to hold this historic event in their space. We will not forget to thank the food and beverage. When I do those musics, I deal with F&B managers. The food and beverage, we do some guitar, something this evening. Ever that, and we can do a one-man guitar or something. And there could be musicians among you who can just join in. We are multi-talented. Yes, so the guys in the kitchen, if they are not here, please pass our gratitude. They have done very good food. The mboga in, I will not forget it. It was extremely sweet, you know. And in abundance, it's like, I couldn't shida ya mboga. Yes, and the kuku, the nyama, everything we have really enjoyed. Of course, the breakfast, nduma, the mayai, the sausages, all that was really, really amazing. So, thank you so much. And as we close, I think it will be important for us to mark. I like this place. I really like it. So for those of us who are around here, please keep patronizing. We have said this thing that we should now grow our own. You know, go from your place. This is our own place. Come here. When I'm along this side and I'm passing, I think it's not so far from the road. Close, come here, have your lunch with your family. You know, support our own, really. For those who will be leaving after this, those who want to stay, please feel free to stay up to tomorrow. Those who want to stay, feel free to stay up to tomorrow. And those who want to stay a bit, again, stay on. And those who will be going, we want to wish you journey masses so that we will meet again. So before we close, I think it will be important we have a prayer. Yes, maybe. Oh yes. Oh yes, there's going to be a photo, and then another one outside before it's dark. So do we pray? I think we pray first. Oh, yes. I want to request my sister Pam kindly to pray for us. Yes.
Baba, katika jina la Yesu tunakushukuru ni asante kwa mwezi njema ambao ulipanga. Baba, ulijua kwamba siku hii itakuwa jinsi vile ilivyo. Asante kwa watu wote ambao wameweza kufika hapa. Asante kwa viongozi ambao waliweza kupanga hii. Baba, tunaomba kwamba yale ambayo tunataka yaweze kutimika. Na siku moja tutakuwa tunasema kwamba tulianza jambo ambalo linaweza kunawiri. Baba, ni asante kwa kila mmoja wetu tunapoondoka. Hebu kawe na wanapofika salama, jina lao tuweze kumlilia. Katika jina la Yesu Kristo nimeomba na kuamini. Amen.